Senator Waters.
Thanks, President. My question is to the Minister representing the Minister for the Environment, Senator Cormann. Last night, Minister Hunt approved the world's largest coal port at Abbott Point in the Great Barrier Reef World Heritage Area, as well as another coal seam gas liquefaction plant at Gladstone Harbour, also in the World Heritage Great Barrier Reef. These approvals for more coal and gas export to worsen global climate change came on the same day as the government tried to repeal our climate laws. The Abbott Point approval allows dredging of 3 million cubic metres and offshore dumping of that sludge. The minister says the dredgers will have to offset that by saving 4.5 million cubic metres of sediment from running off land to the reef. Yet under the Reef Rescue Program, with the full resources of the Commonwealth and the Queensland and the hard work of farmers, in 5 years only 1/20th of the amount of sludge that's planned to be dumped offshore for Abbott Point was stopped from entering the reef. How is it even possible that the dredgers will be able to save 20 times that amount? And who will enforce these conditions when the government wants to put Campbell Newman in charge of the reef and when you've sacked half the environment
workers? Your time
workers?
has expired for asking the question. The Minister representing the Minister for the Environment, Senator Cormann.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and I thank Senator Waters for that question. Let me just say at the outset that the government is unapologetic about our commitment to building a stronger economy, to creating more jobs, to creating opportunities for people right across Australia, and to do so in a way that is environmentally sustainable, which is of course why, after a rigorous assessment, 2 projects have indeed been approved by the Minister for the Environment at the port of Abbott Point, the Abbott Point Coal Terminal 0 project and the Abbott Point Capital Dredging project. It's important to note here that the port of Abbott Point is an existing, well-established coal port in the Great Barrier Reef. Some of the strictest conditions in Australian history.
Order. Senator Cormann, resume your seat as Senator Waters is on her feet. Senator Waters.
Thanks, President. A point of order. I'm well aware of what's been approved. My question went to how you could possibly comply with a condition like that and who would enforce those conditions after all of the sackings that we've seen.
Well, there's no point of order at this stage. The Minister still has 1 minute 12 seconds remaining to address the question. The Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. As I was saying, some of the strictest conditions in Australian history have been placed on these projects to ensure that any impacts are avoided, mitigated or offset. And that is, of course, because the coalition government is committed to the long-term protection of the Great Barrier Reef as one of Australia's greatest natural assets. And 95 conditions have been placed on the 2 projects that reflect the commitment to deliver a net benefit to the outstanding universal value of the Great Barrier Reef World Heritage Area, which includes a requirement to improve the water quality of the reef through a long-term net reduction of fine sediments entering the marine park from land-based sources well beyond the life of the projects. And I would also add that the conditions, as Senator Waters said, require offset contributions estimated at around $32 million towards recovery actions for marine species and the Great Barrier Reef World Heritage Areas. The decisions have been made in line with the UNESCO World Heritage Committee's recommendations into port developments, in particular that no port developments or associated port infrastructure be permitted outside the existing and long-established major port areas within or adjoining the property.
Question. Senator Waters.
Thanks, President. I ask a supplementary question. Given that the World Heritage Committee has warned that the reef is headed for a downgrade in its status to World Heritage in danger if this industrialisation of the reef continues, and given that 63,000 people rely on a healthy reef for their livelihood, will the minister take personal responsibility for the collapse in tourism jobs that will follow a World Heritage in danger list?
The Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And clearly, Senator Waters didn't listen to my answer to her initial question, where I clearly pointed out that our approval and the conditions that go with the approval actually will lead to an improvement in water conditions in that area. We are actually making things better than they were before by making sensible decisions where you can balance opportunities for economic growth with improvements in environmental sustainability. That is something that the Coalition is committed to. That is something that the Greens will never understand. I'm hopeful that the Labor Party can understand this, but what I might just also point out, that under Labor, at least 38 million cubic metres of dredging was proposed for Abbott Point. The dredging approved for Abbott Point by this government is limited to 3 million cubic metres, less than 1/12 the size of the proposal previously progressed by the Labor Party. So I guess they're going to go a bit quiet now. Now that is the Labor Party, which used to be in coalition with you.
Order, Senator Cormann. Order. Senator Waters.
Thanks, President. A second supplementary. On Monday, the government watered down the threatened species protection in the House of Representatives. Yesterday, the government approved the world's biggest coal port and yet another LNG plant in the reef, and tried to abolish the Clean Energy Finance Corporation. Today, the government moved to reduce protection for the Murray-Darling, and on Friday, the Prime Minister is hoping to palm off all national environmental approval responsibilities to the states. When will Minister Hunt change his door plaque to Minister Against the Environment?
Order. You can answer that in so much as it comes into the portfolio, Minister.
Mr. President, well, the first thing I would say is that Minister Hunt is the best friend the environment has ever had. And the second thing I would say is that under the Coalition, we will grow our economy and we will do it in a way that improves our environment. Unlike the Labor Green government, when you were in government, you progressed 33 decisions to advance port and dredging activities at Abbott Point. Now, we cannot undo the decisions of the Labor Green government, but what we can do is we can clean up the mess of the Labor Green government, which put at risk the Great Barrier Reef, which we are committed to protect and to preserve and to see improve moving forward.